सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमो नमः। Dear brothers, friends, devotees, today I have decided to come before you and talk to you about Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya. By divine grace, I was, after my transfer from Lahore, 1946, when the great fight between the Hindus and Muslims started in Lahore, and thus the Hindus were ill-treated and killed and became refugees. So I also came as a refugee from Lahore to Amritsar. So when I came as a refugee, as I was going to Amritsar, in the city I found dead bodies scattered everywhere. Hindu-Muslim fight was going on in India. Afterwards again I went to New Delhi, again the same story everywhere. In the streets of New Delhi, Hindu-Muslim dead bodies were scattered. And I was then transferred by Swami Vireshwaranandaji Maharaj by telephone to Vrindavan. Vrindavan, as you know, is a hospital center. It was not at the present position. Now it is the modern up-to-date hospital just above on the main road from Mathura to Vrindavan. Earlier when we were there, the hospital Seva Ashrama started on the banks of Jamuna, just near the Jamuna river. So thus the buildings were very low, not like the modern buildings up near the main road. At that time it was all flood-ridden. Every year, twice, thrice, flood used to come. We had to lift the patients to upstairs, and all those problems we had. And now no floods at all, and Jamuna is far away from the hospital and the temple of Sri Ramakrishna there. So it was the beginning of the hospital center that we were serving there, and I was quite new to all the hospital services. However, I started from giving barley water to the patients early in the morning. Then afterwards slowly I was taken to the injection room. I was trained in the intravenous injection, intermuscular and all sorts of injections. Then I became an injection man. Then again I was taken to the dressing room. The Swamiji who was dressing so much of blood and that and this I saw as he was dressing the wounds and all that. I never in my life was accustomed to see so much of blood, so my head was reeling. And they told, okay, you go and take rest. So after a few days, the mind was accustomed to that, and then I became a good dressing sadhu of the wounds and all that. Then later on, it is a place, Vrindavan is a place with thunderstorms and dust storms and all that, because northern India, so much of dust storm, as a result, plenty of eye diseases. So I was taken to the eye department, eye dressing and all that. Then I was upgraded to assist the eye surgeon, all that. So then again, when the hospital purchased an X-ray, I was asked to read the books on Roentgen rays and all that. And slowly and slowly the doctors trained me to be a sadhu who looks after the X-ray machine, takes X-ray photos and helps along with the doctor to read that and all that. Thus, I ended up as a radiologist. I started by giving the barley water, ended up as a radiologist in a few years, and then Swami Madhavanandaji, when he was coming from Himalayas to Almora, he fell down from the hospital. Then he had to be X-rayed. He came to the Vrindavan hospital. Then he told me laughingly, "See, now I have come to take shelter in your department." So like that we had some fun, and Swamiji was the General Secretary at that time. So thus the Vrindavan life ended from 1946 to 1952. In 1952, I requested them to give me the chance to go to Himalayan, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Kailasnath and all that. All that started, etc. So in that way, my life in Vrindavan ended, and then of course my future life, according to the direction of the headquarters, I was taken to Mysore Study Circle. At that time, Brahmachari's training center in the headquarters we didn't have. So thus I ended up with that, and thus I had a great chance of being in Vrindavan, the hospital center, and then at the same time studying about Vaishnavism and Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya's life there. So today's subject is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So, based on the notes that I prepared there when I was there, I am going to explain to you some of the important features of Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya. The word Chaitanya means living power. Chaitanya, like Sri Ramakrishna, in him the divine Chaitanya was ever present. By thinking, by talking, in any way he can transfer powers wherever it is required. In the same way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was capable of transferring power. The word Chaitanya means living power, like live wire. It's capable of burning you at any time. Like that, in the same way, this is capable of lifting you up to spiritual higher levels. He used to intently infuse power by his words, by his touch and all that. With whomsoever he came in touch with, Mahaprabhu used to infuse powers. Born in 18th February 1486 in the town of Nadia in Mayapur district, on a Chandra Grahana day, people taking bath in Bhagirathi, Ganga river, used to go on singing Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. On that sacred occasion, Mahaprabhu was born. To Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi, mother, a beautiful child was born. Ladies came with presents. Mother's father, Shachi Devi's father, foretold that the child would be a very great person. Hence, named him as Vishwambhara. Ladies shouted, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari. Born under Nimba tree. Hence, he was called Nimai. Born under the Nimba tree, hence he is called Nimai. Mother named him like that, and as usual, he was naughty. After 5th year, admitted to Bengali school, where he picked Bengali in a short time. Early miracles were plenty. One of them was this. He was very nicely decorated with golden jewelry. Seeing that, some people walking in the streets looked at the child and they wanted to take him away, relieve him of all the golden jewelry and leave him back. So they lifted him, child, and took the child. As soon as they touched the child, their attitude was different. And they were carrying him to take away to somewhere and relieve him of the jewelry and bring him back. But it so happened, because of the power of the child, Chaitanya, they went round and round and round and brought back the child and left in his house. That is what happened as a child. So people began to cry by seeing him again, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Once mother gave sweetmeats, but he ate the mud nearby. He was capable of making that, the sweet mud. Shachi explains, earth as jug for water, brick for building, etc. Sweets only for eating. Nimai accepts. A Brahman guest on yatra cooked once, twice, and offered to Krishna Nimai ate it. The child Nimai was nearby, but the devotee was offering to Krishna. He happened to eat it. Third time, when all were asleep, he appeared as Sri Krishna to the guest who was worshipping Sri Krishna, and he was blessed thus. Two thieves took Nimai, yes, as I have told you earlier, Nimai, to steal his jewels and gave him sweets and returned him. But the lad used his power and made them return home again because he was filled with Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya power, spiritual power. Then they left him at home and ran away, being afraid of being caught by people. Hiranya and Jagadish had collected all the offerings to be offered to Sri Krishna on a Ekadashi. Chaitanya demanded them and got them. At the 5th year, he sat on rejected cooking pots, which his mother considered unholy, but he taught them that there is no holy and unholy pots, all are holy pots. In the 8th year, he was in Sanskrit school, and in 2 years he became well-read, well-versed in Sanskrit grammar and logic, etc. Then he had only self-study left. After 10 years, he became known as a Pandit. Now his elder brother became a sannyasin. Chaitanya consoled his parents. Now his father died. Again Chaitanya was with his mother, consoling him. At 15, he was married to Lakshmi Devi. Now, to earn wealth, he went to East Bengal and began preaching the religion of Vaishnavism. Here, due to snake bite, his dear wife Lakshmi passed away. Returning to Nadia, where he was born in Mayapur, he married Vishnupriya again. Being the Pandit of Nadia, he faced renowned Keshava Mishra of Kashmir and defeated him in Nyaya. At 16-17, he travelled to Gaya, took Diksha from Ishwarapuri, a Vaishnav. Great change in him saw Advaita and Srivasa as his disciples. He lost his consciousness at the name of Sri Krishna. He was so much inspired by Sri Krishna and his name and behaved as an inspired man, spiritually inspired man. Opened a night kirtan school at Srivasa's house there. He preached and sang and danced. Now Nityananda, who had travelled throughout India preaching Vaishnavism, joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, all Bengal Pandits joined him. Nadia now became seat of Vaishnavism to spiritualize the whole mankind. In fact, all Bengal Pandits joined him. Nadia now became the seat of Vaishnavism to spiritualize all mankind. Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya asked Nityananda and Haridas to go from door to door to everyone and asked them to sing Hari Bol, Hari Bol with a pure life, not with Nama Paradha. You take the divine name and do the things and speak the things which not to be done. That is called Nama Aparadha. You are taking Hari name, divine name, at the same time your life shows the opposite. That's called Nama Aparadha. That should not be done. Thus they met Jagai Madai. They insulted and got converted. Though first they insulted, but they themselves later on got converted. Nadia now was surprised that Chaitanya was a divine missionary. In the houses and his devotees, he was also showing miracles and singing Haribol. Perhaps you know that incident. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu was crossing Ganges along with his devotees, always reciting Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. And as he reached the opposite side of the Ganges, he met a washerman who was washing clothes. As he washed clothes, Mahaprabhu went near him and told, "Brother, you just wash the clothes. As you are beating and giving talam, you please say Haribol, Haribol and wash the clothes." He got wild. These sadhus have no other job, they get free food and all preaching like that. We have to work hard, wash clothes. So like that he was giving him a scornful look. Mahaprabhu went near and touched him. "Brother, please repeat Hari Bol." Moment he touched like that, gave him so much of power, his clothes fell from the hands. And the washerman began to say Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And after some time, it became lunch time. Washerman's wife was bringing lunch for him. She saw from a distance so much cloth is remaining. The husband is dancing with Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And she was shouting, "What happened to you, madman now? So much of cloth is there and you are dancing like a madman here. Give up all that and do wash the clothes." He was not hearing that. Mahaprabhu has given him so much of power. He was completely enthroned and he had the darshan of Hari. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, he was going on dancing. As Thakur Sri Ramakrishna did in the case of devotees, starting from Swami Vivekananda himself. So like that, these great spiritual people, they just do the impossible by transferring power. That's why it's called Chaitanya. He is filled with power. Like, as the example was given earlier, it's like the electrical wire. You touch it, it burns. Like that, Mahaprabhu was filled with that such power. And the lady, his wife, washerman's wife came, kept the food there, and with wild anger went and caught hold of the husband, accusing her, "Stop all this madness and wash clothes." Immediately, as soon as she touched him, she began to say, "Hari Bol, Hari Bol." Like this, the whole story of the modern Hari Bol in Western countries, everywhere the Hare Krishna movement is preaching, it started from that. And both of them were caught hold of by the other villagers and they wanted to stop them, this madness. As soon as they touched him, they began to say Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And as the whole story goes, the whole village began to dance Hari Bol in the street. Whoever touched them, they got that Shakti. So Krishna's appearance, and they began to sing the glory of Krishna. That is how the Hari Bol of modern Hare Krishnas started earlier, with Sri Krishna's power, Sri Krishna Chaitanya's powers transferred to them. Nadia now was surprised that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a divine missionary. In the houses of his devotees, he was also showing various miracles, as Sri Ramakrishna used to show amongst his devotees. As Kirtan grew, as Kiran grew jealous, Smartas complained to Chand Kazi, the Muslim king, that Chaitanya was un-Hindu. Chand broke a mridanga in Srivasa's house and asked them to stop this new making of noise, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, or else he would make them Islamic. In the evening, Chaitanya went with its devotees to Kazi's house, had a long conversation and touched him and transformed him, communicating to his heart devotion of Sri Krishna. Kazi wept because of the power of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Kazi began to sing Sri Krishna's name and wept and admitted the ecstasy he was in, the spiritual joy he was in. Now, many joined this group, but they opposed Chaitanya with a party feeling. Chaitanya told them that party feelings, etc., happens to be sectarianism. They are not good as far as spiritual progress is concerned. Now embraced, after a while, Sri Krishna Chaitanya embraced sannyasa under Keshav Bharati at the age of 24. Mother and wife wept, but he went to humanity to inherit unlimited divine power. But he went with humility to inherit unlimited divine power. Then he went to Advaita's house and Shachi was taken to see him. Shachi was the mother. With kaupina and upper cloth only, shaven head with danda and kamandalu, fell at her feet. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw mother, he fell at his feet and asked mother's permission to go to Vrindavan for spiritual higher attainments. But she asked him to be in Puri, that she may get his news now and then. Saw Bhuvaneshwar on the way, the great famous Bhuvaneshwar temple, that we have got a mission center also there. In Puri he stayed with the Sarvabhauma, a great Pandit. Like Shankaracharya in Vedanta, he ran a Sanskrit school, talked with the Gopinath and Chaitanya to hear his Vaishnava classes, Vedanta Sutras, etc. After 7 days, Sarvabhauma told Chaitanya that he did understand that is the way, that is why he kept quiet. But Chaitanya told that he understood well sutras, but not his Shankara's Tika he did not understand, Sri Shankaracharya's commentary. So Sarvabhauma heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation to be simpler with the devotion, with the feeling of devotion, and became a Vaishnava himself. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started with one Krishnadasa to go to South India. On the way, he cured a leper, Vasudeva, he was named as Vasudeva, met Ramananda Raya, governor of Vindhyanagar on Godavari and talked about Prema Bhakti, made a miracle, made to disappear 7 tal trees. It is said it is the same thing which Bali shot and thrown, which Rama shooting had killed the great Rakshasa Bali. In Rangakshetra, he stayed with one Venkata Bhatta for 4 months, converted them from Ramanuja Sampradaya to Krishna Bhakti Sampradaya, along with Gopala of 10 years, Venkatesha's son, who later on went to Vrindavan and became one of the 6 Goswamis under Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gopala later on wrote on Vaishnavism. Reaching Kanyakumari, Mahaprabhu returned in 2 years to Puri via Pandrapura, where Tukaram was spiritualized. On his way, Chaitanya had talks with Buddhists, Jains, Advais, and converted them all to Vaishnavism because of his Chaitanya, spiritual power. On 28th year, he went to Gaudadesha and picked up Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Southern Brahmana group from Karnataka, where with Hussain Shah, emperor of Gauda, was ruling. The two were renamed as Dabir Khas and Sakra Malik, who were learned in Persian, Arabic and Sanskrit. They had written 2 Mahapuranas in Puri. He had replied them and promised to save them when visiting Gauda. They were sent to Vrindavan to meet him there. Met mother. Then, on the way to Puri, on to Vrindavan. As he was going to Puri from Bengal, through the forest he had to pass through. Again he was passing through all the way with Haribol, Kirtan, along with his devotees and himself. As he was passing, it is said, the wild animals which heard his Haribol inspiring songs, in that orbit, whoever came, all the animals, wild animals, tigers, elephants, all of them, they began to dance with them as they were singing Haribol. When they passed away, the orbit was over, that atmosphere and that power on the animals, of course it was over. It is said in the Valmiki Ramayana that where Valmiki Valmiki's ashrama was there, in that atmosphere, whichever wild animals came, they were all friendly with cows and deers and all that. In that atmosphere, when they got out of the atmosphere, then they regained their normal animal nature, it is said. So like that it happens here also. Now Chaitanya went to Benares, where Sanatana joined him, and in 2 months he was trained. Jiva Goswami was the nephew of Sanatana, and Rupa Goswami wrote on Sri Chaitanya's teachings. Prakashananda Saraswati and his followers gave up Shankara's Advaita, got converted by Sri Krishna Chaitanya's power. They began weeping with bhajan, Hari Bol, in the name of Sri Krishna, and thus their spiritual power slowly began to grow. From Benares, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Puri, sent Sanatana to Vrindavan. On his way in the jungle, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, as I have told you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made tigers, elephants and all of that dance as they were moving towards Puri on their way along with the Haribol Kirtan. From the 31st year, he continuously lived in Puri up to his disappearance in the temple of Tota Gopinatha while in Sankirtana. During these 18 years, the purest Vaishnavisms Vaishnavites were with him. He had short sleep and always in deep prema bhakti, he and his devotees were completely absorbed. Used to meet devotees often, communicated Vrindavan missionaries as in Nara Avatara what will happen. He showed that in spiritual brotherhood there is no caste distinction. All religious devotees, they all can meet together and spend their time in devotional exercises. He loved his mother and often sent Mahaprasad to her in Nadia, Mahaprabhu. From Puri, because he used to stay in Puri, he sang and danced, took no care of himself, and often lost himself in divine communion. And being in Puri, he was often overpowered by Krishna Bhakti, looking at the blue waters of the ocean. So there are so many stories about that. It is said, seeing the blue waters, he was reminded of Sri Krishna, and he went to embrace Sri Krishna to the sea and thus he lost himself. It is said so many stories are there, but this is one of them. So, thus, in short, this is the story of Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Bhakti and all that, according to the notes that I prepared when I was in Vrindavan in 1947, 8 and like that, in those days. That notes is still there. That is how I could breathe a little life to them, having been spiritual with Shri Thakur, Sri Ramakrishna, how Sri Ramakrishna himself came to us in a very inhuman way. As you know, Ramakrishna came to us through the spiritual power. So Chandramani Devi, not in the human way. Husband was away in Vishnu Gaya. So here mother, when she was near the Shiva temple, she saw Shiva temple filled with light, and the rays of light began to travel to her and entered her. As you know the story, I am just repeating it. How Chandramani Devi got spiritualized, and thus she fell down with that joy. The Shiva Shakti entered her, and thus when she was awakened, after a while she told that the power of Lord Shiva entered me, and I am now in a family way. I am carrying a baby. So like that, that is what happened in the case of Sri Ramakrishna. And there the husband in Vishnu Gaya, where he had gone for offering Pindadana, there he had the darshan of Mahavishnu. Here the blessing of Lord Shiva to mother. There he had the blessings of Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu appeared to him and he knelt before him, and Mahavishnu told that I would like to come to your house. But Kshudiram, Chandramani Devi's Patidev, told, no, please Bhagavan, please don't come to my house. It's very interesting in that way. When Lord wants to come, he told, no, please don't come to my house. Why? I am poor. I am a poor Brahmin. How can I look after you? That was his reasoning. But Bhagavan told, no, I will make all arrangement, don't worry. But I want to come to your house. That is how Sri Ramakrishna happened to be born in a divine way, and thus we got him as a spiritual giant in the modern age. Sri Ramakrishna thus made the whole human society take the direction of spiritual life, east and west, everywhere, through the power of his disciples, as we saw it through Swami Vivekananda. And yesterday I went to the great ice house and there I happened to see that film, the three-way film, where Swami Vivekananda was giving the address to the Americans alive. Everything was alive. So those of you who have not seen, you can go and see there. It's very, very interesting. I saw it for the first time in my life. It's very alive. So in that way, the great repetition of the story, divine story, what mostly happened in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, it began to happen in this modern age in Sri Ramakrishna's, Vivekananda and Holy Mother's life, thus spiritualizing the modern society, especially through those who are already blessed with noble tendencies. Thus, the spiritual power which we were blessed with because of the divine grace of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda, now it is still moving us forward, and we will have to take birth again and again until we move further by their grace to spiritualize ourselves better and really realize the Supreme Deity. So, that is to be done by our efforts, by the grace of Thakur, Swamiji and Mother. Thus, the modern spiritual wave that came through Sri Ramakrishna, it is still spreading, and wherever Sri Ramakrishna centers are started, people have begun opening their eyes by reading the great books like the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the greatest book of this age. As you know, that story, as Sri Ramakrishna says, at night the thief went to steal the fish from a big zamindar's house. And as he was putting the net to the big lake in the rich man's house to steal fish at night, it so happened his big dogs came barking, and the thief was in difficulty. He was thinking what to do now. So he got a good idea. He just tore away his cloth and made it kaupinam, and took the mud from the lake and put on his body and became a sadhu and began sitting under the tree there and meditating. When the thieves came, dogs came hunting for the thief, and when the workers came along with the dogs, Sri Ramakrishna says, they found only a sadhu sitting under the tree. There is no thief anywhere. So, thief was surprised. All of them came, did pranam to him, because he is a sadhu with kaupin under the tree, and he is no more a thief. And he was so much transformed from within. Though I am a thief, just for cheating them, I became a sadhu. But still I get so much of respect and reverence. Suppose I really become a sadhu, I am sure God will come to me. With that faith, he gave up everything and became a sadhu and went away. Just imitating also we get power. Sri Ramakrishna says, imitate but still you get power and God will lead you forward. So in that way, spiritual life can be spiritualized by the great spiritual leaders in different ways. So Sri Ramakrishna's Gospel is the greatest book of this age. All of us must read daily, not one by one. When all the work is over, evening dinner is over, mothers wash their vessels and all that, everything is over, all of us must sit together. And the Gospel must be read there, where the children are there, mother, father, relatives, everybody is there. We must read and enjoy that and explain, and wherever there is questions, those who can answer in the house must answer them. In that way, we must read the Gospel, not one by one. Then only we all get spiritualized, and thus we can spiritually move forward. Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya's powers, it happened to be taught by Hare Krishnas, as you know, and those Hare Krishnas were in Vrindavan also, and that great modern Hare Krishna preacher, what's his name? Prabhupada. Prabhupada came to Vrindavan several times, and he came to our ashrama also. And he began talking to us and mixing with us and all that. Finally, Prabhupada wanted to give up his body because he was old. He could not preach well, he could not sing well and all that. So he told his disciples, please take my body and put near the Ganges, give me daily Ganges water and wipe my body with Ganges water, repeat Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol and Hare Ram, Hare Krishna and all that until this body goes away. So like that, for about a week or so, he was going on with the food of Hari Bol only, not eating anything else, and thus he gave up his body. And it is said, thus his modern life of creating a new organization which Mahaprabhu created, he also created, and he gave up his body, it is said. So, thus there are other incidents, etc., which we have no time to tell now. Now it is 5:30, and we have to put a full stop to all our stories now. Thank you all for having listened calmly. Thank you very much.